Hi, mathletes. Today we're going to be solving two-step equations. If you haven't watched my video on solving one-step equations, I suggest you watch that one first. And even before that, I suggest that you watch my video that shows you how to solve equations using drawings. That way it's less abstract and it's more concrete. You can use my QR code to the left to help you with that. So when we're solving two-step equations, there's three things we need to remember. The first step is to write the equation. The second is to add or subtract. And the third is to multiply or divide. Now, this is the opposite of GEMMA or order of operations, where you would multiply or divide before you add or subtract. But when we're solving an equation, we're trying to undo it, so we're going through the opposite order. So let's start with the first one, where we write the equation, which is an addition problem. 3x plus 5 equals 17. You also have a multiplication part to it as well. So remember, the next thing we'll do is add or subtract because we're undoing the operation. So this time I'm going to subtract 5 from each side by making 0 pairs. Remember, I'm trying to isolate the x or get x by itself. So by subtracting 5 from each side, I will end up with only 3x on the left-hand side. Reminder that you must do it from both sides so that the equation is balanced. So now I have 3x equals 12. Now I can simplify this as a one-step equation because I have 3x equals 12 and the opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I will divide each side by 3. Therefore, I have 1x and the quotient of 12 and 3 is 4. I want to verify or check to make sure that this is correct. So I'm going to write my original equation, 3x plus 5 equals 17. I'm now going to replace my x with the number 4 because I believe 4 is the solution to this equation. So 3 multiplied by 4 plus 5 equals 17. Now this time we need to use GEMMA. We need to make sure that we follow the order of operations. So we need to multiply or divide before we add or subtract. So the product of 3 and 4 is 12. 12 plus 5 equals 17. And 17 does indeed equal 17. So my solution has been verified. Let's look at another one. Again, we're going to write the equation. We're going to add or subtract and then multiply or divide. So the equation is 4x minus 8 equals 16. So this time I'm going to be subtracting. So we're going to do the opposite, which is to add 8 to each side, therefore making my 0 pair. So there's my 0 pair. So I have on the left side 4x, and on the right side I have the sum of 16 and 8, which is 24. The last step is to multiply or divide. So in order to isolate the x, I'm going to divide each side by 4. And now I have x equals 6. So the solution to this equation should be 6, but let's verify or check it. So write the original equation, 4x minus 8 equals 16. I'm going to replace my x with a 6 because I believe 6 is the solution to this equation. The product of 6 and 4 is 24, minus 8 equals 16, and the difference between 24 and 8 is 16. So it is indeed verified. So the solution is 6. I just want to point out that you notice I only did one operation per line. So we don't want to do all of the operations together. One operation per line. All right. Again, write the equation, add or subtract, multiply or divide. So first we're going to write the equation. Oh, this one looks a little harder. We've got a fraction here, so it's harder to do this one. Sometimes students say that they can do it in their head, but this one would be very difficult to figure out in your head. Again, what's more important is that you show your understanding by showing all the steps. So we're going to subtract 6 from each side. I make my 0 pairs and I end up with 2/5 x equals 4. Now the next part, you need to think about reciprocals because remember I want 1x and anything multiplied by its reciprocal equals 1. So the reciprocal of 2/5 is 5/2. So I'm going to multiply each side by 5/2. So I end up with 1x and the product of 4 and 5 is 20. divided by 2. Remember that 4 is also the same as 4 over 1. I can simplify 20 over 2, or 20 divided by 2, as 10. Now let's verify that this is correct. So when we check it, we write 2 fifths x plus 6 equals 10. I'm going to replace my x with 10. So 2 multiplied by 10 is 20, divided by 5, plus 6 equals 10. And 20 divided by 5 is 4, and the sum of 4 and 6 is 10. So indeed, it is verified. So I hope this helps. This is, again, how you would show how to do a two-step equation, showing all of your steps, and to verify.